back to another episode of Mythkeepers. We're your hosts. I am Scott, and joining me as always, he's really been going to town with that sponge in the bath. It is Zach the Magnanimous.
Magnanimous.
Hell yeah, brother. Do you even know what magnanimous means?
It means that I'm magnificent.
Yeah, exactly. Nailed it. First try. First try. Zachy boy, we are back. Or
We're
rather,
back, baby.
Hot D, House of the Dragon is back. And I gotta tell you, I couldn't be happier.
Oh, dude, I am so excited.
I'm so fucking happy this show is back. We're so excited. So, Zach and I did this last season of House of the Dragon. For those who are wondering, for those who are new, we did this for every episode of season 1. Go check those out if you're interested. I recently, before the show started, or season 2 started, rewatched the entirety of season 1 for the second time. And I listened to a few of our episodes as well that we did the podcast on it. And I really enjoy the hell out of this show, man. Like, I think on rewatch, I somehow enjoyed the first season even more.
That actually brings me to one of the first things I wanted to chat about with you.
Okay. Well, hit me.
I wanted to ask, were there any new feelings, new observations? Because you and I have both revisited season 1 in preparation for season 2. Was there anything that stood out to you that maybe we didn't notice too much of, or you didn't care too much for, or is it all about the same?
I think if anything, I just felt way better about everything. Like, to be honest, there were times during the podcast last season when we were relatively negative.
There were a few times, yeah.
I feel like in our effort to be very objective and like just, not to have a 1 hour circle jerk for the show.
Sure.
We really called it out on some shit. And not that there weren't warrant to some of those things, but I really enjoyed the first season so much on rewatch. Like I said, I think I enjoyed it even more. It's just very good, very well done. The acting is excellent. Having the full picture of where it was going and how it was getting there, I feel like just made me appreciate it all the more.
Yeah, I mean, I think you're right. Like, it's a very different, I think, vehicle that's being driven, but it's very reminiscent of going back and rewatching season 1 of Game of Thrones.
Yeah.
I enjoy it more every time I go back to it. And it kind of gave me that same feeling. Now, a couple things that stood out to me, though.
Okay, hit me.
And I will admit I have not gone back and listened to our chats about it. So I don't know if these are things that were talked about completely. But one of them was I became like just enamored by all the detail shots in season 1. Like there are breathtaking visuals through and through. There's, gorgeous landscapes. There's really, really great effects. But some of the just like simple detail shots, like for example, like placing Aegon's crown on the pillow.
Oh, sure.
The detail shot of like of the map room and Dragonstone. There's just so many just beautiful small detail shots that make for incredible B-roll to some of these films.
Yes.
Voiceovers and music and stuff like that. It's just so pretty, dude.
Not specific, maybe not like detail shots in the way you're talking about, but we made a point to call out like how good the set dressing and just the sets themselves, like the costuming, the
costuming is
all that
maybe
stuff.
The best I've ever seen.
It's truly remarkable. It's so far and away above better than like any show. It's like
Yeah.
better than 99% of movies, if we're being honest.
Truly. I mean, every episode, I think we said this last time, every episode is watching like a 1 hour movie.
Yes.
It's like, it's just watching film.
What else? Was there anything else you want to say about season 1?
I wouldn't say like siding, because that's not really the way that I watch stuff like this.
We
like,
talked about this a lot, is that the picking sides thing we think is kind of dumb.
It's kind of cringe.
Yeah.
But
like, I understand why people do it, but
oh, sure. And from a marketing perspective, greens versus blacks fucking works, you know?
By the way, that new like logo they've got with like the green dragon and the black dragon like intertwined.
Yes.
That shit's hot. That shit goes crazy.
It's very good, man. But one of the things that really, I wouldn't say like was surprising, but I was very drawn to the nuance of Alicent.
Sure.
In the first season. And I think that it's very easy to casually just be like, oh, well, she's a bitch, you know, like for the things that she did and the way that she's acting. But I was very close to some of her decision making and really seeing the toll that some of this is happening on her. Like, there was a moment like when Larys has Harwin and is it Lionel, the father, Strong, when he has them burned back in Harrenhal.
Mm-hmm.
And she is like, you killed them? And he's like, well, yeah. And she is horrified, devastated.
Yeah.
And she's like, this is not what I wanted. Amanda, and you know, I'm obviously not calling Amanda out, but Amanda even was like, okay, bitch, like, what did you think he was going to do, right? And I think it's knee-jerk to feel like that when you're watching a show like this.
Yes.
But it's like, no, man, like, she is also trying to do what's right. She's so conflicted and torn between, like, the love that she feels for Rhaenyra, but then the love of her family and her sense of duty.
And her kids.
And yeah, so I was very drawn to that aspect. On first watch, the first time, I knew I was very drawn to Rhaenyra. She's cool. She does some dumb stuff, yes, but like, you know, she's got Daemon and they're just cool, you know? So it's easy to be drawn to that and think so negatively about the other side. But man, I was really captivated by some of Alicent's stuff through this rewatch. So
I like what you said. You used the word knee jerk. And I think that's the perfect way, looking back. Like, we definitely had, especially when it came to characters, it's very easy to have those knee-jerk reactions to certain characters. And the way they do things, the way they act. On this watch through of season 1, I feel like my appreciation for honestly all the characters only grew, and I grew to like them more. For their
even the kids, which I didn't love the kids the first watch through.
I think I just liked everyone more because, again, having the full picture of the season, you're able to like understand and appreciate like what they're going through, things from their perspective.
Yes. 100%.
I liked Rhaenyra more. I liked Daemon more on this rewatch. I appreciated our boy Almond Milk for now being this kind of like shitty, snotty, but capable villain character. Alicent for sure, like you said. Rhaenys, like we did call out Rhaenys a lot.
God,
like
dude.
We loved Rhaenys almost like every moment she was in. So I don't know that I could say I love her more, but I still adore her.
Yes.
Yeah, it's just it's very
I
easy.
also didn't dislike Corlys as much. He's still not my favorite, but he was just fine.
That's another one I was gonna say. Corlys was not as bad as I remembered. Yeah, I think honestly my appreciation for just the show as a whole and all the characters within only grew. And Zach, I have to say, when this first episode of season 2 started, and I do think unless there was something else you wanted to get to.
No, those are the main things I wanted to hit.
Because we do need to jump in. I'm sure we have a lot to talk about. Season 2, episode 1. I cannot even begin to tell you is very pun intentional here. Just the warm feeling I had inside. Those opening shots, and there was the first few notes of a song, and I was like, my breath literally caught, and I was like, is this the fucking North theme? You cannot do this to me, show. There are so few musical tracks that can immediately elicit just such an emotional response from me.
Yes.
And the North theme does it just without fail.
Oh, it's so fucking perfect,
and
man.
That raven is flying, and it comes over the hill, and you see Winterfell, and I was just so happy, Zach.
So just, dude, warm is a great way
even
to
though
say
it's
that.
Cold up there, I just had a warm feeling.
Oh,
it was amazing.
Yeah, man, that track starts playing. I do want to say, the new intro
goes crazy.
Is beautiful. The tapestry,
the
weaving.
Stitch work. Yep.
Oh my
it's
God,
so
I was
cool. And
yeah,
I'm
was very
so
into it.
glad they weren't afraid to go in a different direction with it, because all the seasons of Game of Thrones were the very clockwork, mechanical apparatus stuff. And I feel like in season 1, the opening leaned very close to that. It wasn't
it's
the same.
The blood trails,
it was the blood trail and rocks.
But
but it was still very similar vibes. This is completely different aesthetic.
Right.
And I was like, hell yes, good for you. Go for it. I love it.
Yeah. Man, okay, so I'm sorry. I just wanted to take a quick step back there, but dude, seeing Winterfell
and that fucking song just fucks me up, bro. It just
it's so good, man.
It's so good.
Okay, so let's talk about Cregan Stark and Jace. So first things first. Immediate thought of Cregan is, I like this guy.
Yeah. Big time.
That was just immediately I was like, this guy seems cool as fuck.
Yeah.
I also like that he is young, but this dude looks like a fucking beast,
man. He has an air of authority about him despite how young he looks. Also,
oh my God.
I cannot say enough how just carrying ice around over your shoulder like a fucking greatsword is just a baller move all the way around.
Yeah, he's like, hey, look at the size of my sword.
Yes. In many ways.
Yes.
Ned only brought that shit out for special occasions, I gotta go behead a guy.
Ned's like, yo, this thing's too heavy.
This thing's too fucking heavy for me. It slows me down. I'm an old ass man. I only use it for beheadings. No, my boy Cregan is just I wear that shit like Link over the shoulder, bro. I'm ready to go all the time.
You're not gonna like this reference, but it's his Buster Sword.
Yeah, I don't like that, but yes.
Yeah, but it is. That's exactly what it is.
That's fair enough.
Okay, and then also Jace. Jace looks good.
Yes, great vibes from both of these two. I love this scene. I'm just gonna throw this out there.
Yes,
it's not only because the music is fucking my shit up and just being in the North again and just giving me such warm feelings, and at the wall too. No less. I was just like, this is great. I love this. And then just even their conversation is excellent. They have an understanding. Jaceris Jace does great with the negotiation, being calm and cool and mature and collected about it. And it was great. I enjoyed the hell out of it.
Yeah, Cregan, I do think it's funny that Cregan's he is so the North.
Oh, he is so the North, yeah.
He is so the North. First off, dude fucking nailed the Sean Bean accent.
Yes, the very,
the Northern
Yep.
accent. But two, his entire demeanor.
Yes.
It's this guy is a fucking Stark.
He breathes, eats, sleeps, breathes the North. When he says, do you think my ancestors beat a 700-foot wall of ice to keep out snow and wildlings, and it's just like,
Yeah.
this dude, like, he is so North pilled. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, dude.
Which I love. I'm so here for it.
I think it's great. It's good world building, and I want to share this too. And I'll definitely share some input that I get from our friends. So one of our best friends, Mia, has never watched Game of Thrones, and she decided to binge House of the Dragon. She loved it. She's never really watched any fantasy, so it's a really
That's
cool,
an interesting, unique perspective. Yeah, having never seen Game of Thrones, but
she but like not like aside from that, dude, like she's not watched like Lord of the Rings, Harry Potter. Like she's never really like touched fantasy.
Okay.
So yeah, like her getting into House of the Dragon, we're so excited about it.
Yeah. That's very exciting. And she loved it.
She truly loved it. Like she could not stop texting us about it. That's awesome. She's team Blacks all the way. She's in it, dude. She's fucking in it.
Filthy casual, if I've ever heard of
truly, dude. No, Mia's the best. But it was very cool to like get to experience the North for the first time.
Oh yeah, geez.
And I guess what I'm saying is like to us, to people who know this world, this is nostalgic.
Yes,
this is reminiscent to come back. This is, and it's a beautiful feeling, but also the show does it really, really carefully so that people who are like Mia also have a clear understanding of like what it is to be in the North.
So she didn't feel like left behind or out of the loop by that.
No, I mean, mind you, like she is one of my very good friends, so I have talked her ear off at length. So I'm sure that has probably leaned into some of it. But yeah, no, like I think that like she didn't seem like, what the fuck is this? Where is this coming from?
Sure.
Like, what the fuck is the issue with, like, I'm just kudos to the writing.
Yeah.
Like it told it in a way that appealed to watchers like you and I,
That's
but
cool.
also for new people to be able to follow along and be introduced to this part of the world.
Yeah.
I think.
I would say my only problem, and it's I suppose a good problem for this show to have, is that I'm just now worried we're not going to get more of Cregan Stark in the North.
Oh, I know.
If he's sending his old
There's
men
no way though
south to fight, like maybe he's leading them, but the way he acted was like, nah, my place is here, bro. Like I gotta defend this wall and shit.
Yeah.
So that's my fear, because like, listen, I loved him so much, and I just loved the vibes up there so much. Is just like, I need more of it. You can't just give me that and be done.
I will say, and I guess I'll tiptoe this, and I'll cautiously say I don't think that this would be an issue, but the extremely very little that I know about this arc, this story, because I have not read Fire and Blood.
Right.
I do know that the name Cregan Stark is important, so I have a feeling it's for more than just what we saw here.
Okay, fair enough. Well, that's true. We kind of just jumped in. I suppose we didn't really give like a full Zach and I, neither of us have read Fire and Blood. We're obviously huge Game of Thrones fans and have read the Song of Ice and Fire books, but we have not read Fire and Blood. I did not even watch any trailers for this upcoming season. I was very excited for it, but I wanted to be as surprised as in the moment as possible. So these are extremely raw reactions. In case you couldn't tell, we just finished watching the episode. So yeah, what happens next? Then we go to Dragonstone, right?
Yeah. So we go to Dragonstone and we get to the scene. I believe this is the scene around the map with Daemon.
Oh,
wanting something to do, right?
No, I think this is Rhaenys comes in to the sick new dragon dock that they got.
Yeah, by the way, dude, does that not look so sick?
That is top 5 sickest dragon docks I've ever seen in my life, hands down.
Dude, the number 1 sickest dragon dock is what you and I do on Friday nights.
True. Yeah. Well, I was gonna leave that unsaid, but thank you. We gassed Rhaenys up a ton last season, and I'm just going to continue that trend. Love Rhaenys to death. Shouts to Eve Best is the actress's name, I believe.
Eve Best. Yep.
She fucking kills it every scene she's in. She does not cow to like Daemon's intimidation and like, hey, fucking go help me do this bullshit. She is so cool, and I just love her to death. And I think I thought this scene was also great.
Yeah, and it going from having just finished season 1 or rewatching season 1 kind of straight into this because we finished it earlier this morning.
Okay, gotcha. Yeah, I finished it like 2 days ago.
It's interesting because he confronts Daemon confronts Rhaenys at the end of the last episode, basically saying like, you had Meleys,
yeah.
Meleys. Like you could have.
You should have burned
this.
them, basically.
Yes,
yeah.
You should have put a stop to this war.
Yes.
And she hits him with the all-timer. Like, this is not my war to start.
Right.
And we see it again here. We see this kind of rising tension between Daemon and Rhaenys, and they're a very interesting pair of characters to get to watch.
That's true.
This happen to, because Daemon is such a loose cannon.
Yes.
I feel like, and I feel like Rhaenys just like she has her shit together.
Yes.
She. I feel like she is one of the most intentional characters that we have in this show.
I feel like damn near anyone would be intimidated by Daemon because he is a loose cannon and because he is a very good fighter and powerful, and has a lot of shit going on for him. But Rhaenys just does not give a shit. She's just like, okay, dude, what did she say? Pity that you're not the king?
He said that's an order, and she says, would that you were the king.
Would that you were the king. It just walks off.
It doesn't even look at him.
Yeah.
Just continues walking away.
Walking. She's so goddamn
She's a
cool.
baller.
She's just like, poor girl looks tired as hell. I can't. It legitimately must be very tiring, like riding those dragons. Like, that can't be easy. And she's like, what did she say? She's patrolling like hundreds of miles by herself. Meleys needs to eat some goats and shit, I'm sure. And she needs to rest. And yeah, like this is a very intense, quick scene between the two of them, but I was fully on board. Loved it.
Yes. And I think it's a very good show of the issues that we are probably going to see throughout this. Like, Daemon is feeling like, I need to do something.
Yes, for sure.
He's basically, I mean, an animal like pacing in a cage is what he is right now. And I think there may have been a little tad bit that maybe we skipped over, but Rhaenyra, or it's said that Rhaenyra is going to seek, maybe it's right after this, I could be wrong. She's looking for.
Well, they allude to that she's gone. They don't say, I don't think explicitly where yet, that we find out, obviously, but
yeah, so she's not at Dragonstone.
Right.
She's looking for the remains of Luke.
Yeah.
And Daemon, she's basically ordered them not to do shit until she's back.
Because Rhaenys hits him with the, hey, the queen needs to grieve. She received the news of her son via Raven, just like I received the news of my daughter via Raven. She needs to like confirm things on her own.
Yes.
And to your point, what you were talking about with like highlighting this kind of like stress point amongst the blacks, this house here. That kind of a big theme of the episode is that both sides are in a bit of disarray. Like, there is problems and infighting on both ends, and it's just like scrambling is happening. And I thought that was a really cool and interesting way to like explore the beginning of this war. It's because it's like, fuck, no one is ready and fully prepared for this. Both sides have made mistakes. Both sides are in disarray.
That's a great call out, man, because like I feel like in many movies or series, books even, sometimes like we just get this image of war of like it's happening.
Yeah.
You know, like war is happening. Like it started with the battle of blah blah blah.
Right.
You know,
or you get the gearing up, like, you know, montage or whatever.
Sure.
Whereas
right.
this is like everybody's kind of gearing down. Like people are floundering.
They're trying to figure out what their footing is exactly.
Yep.
And I don't think I felt that watching it, but that's a great call out, and I'm glad you said it. Like, it's just an interesting way to see the beginnings of a war. And I think obviously a big part of it is how this war has started. Like,
right, yes.
They're not really being a true authority on the crown.
Right. And also just that it's not like war was not like you know, like very legitimately declared. It was you know, someone got killed. This is the assassination.
Shit, I ate your son.
Oh shit, oopsie, I ate your son. This is the assassination of Archduke Ferdinand over here.
Yeah.
So it's like, it wasn't like a formal declaration, hey, we declare war on you, or we attack this place and initiate battle. It's, oopsie, I ate, my dragon ate your son, you know?
Right. And it's, you know what's actually kind of an interesting parallel is like, it's almost like the type of warfare that can kind of happen now, because there's these powerful nations that just have nukes, and it's like, well, we need to figure out a way to fucking fight our battles, but not escalate to that.
Not escalate to the dragons, which is the nuclear option.
And that's exactly what's happening, I think, in this period, and it's just such a cool dynamic to watch. Okay, let's I do want to very quickly mention the next little bit that we get here, or at least in my notes.
Corlys?
Corlys
was next, yeah.
Yeah, so my leading note is, typically I find it very hard to be interested in most things surrounding him.
Okay, sure.
But the one thing I really did enjoy is him getting the blade.
Yeah.
Where he's a little fucked up about, he's like, I had this blade fashioned for Lucerys. I do think it's weird that this random shipwright gives it to him.
Nah, it came in from the Smiths, bro. Yeah, the Smiths gave it to him.
All right. Okay. Either way, it's a sad moment. And it also like reminded me of his position, and like, although he may not have ever had a closeness to Rhaenyra and her children,
I feel like he tried with the children. Definitely not Rhaenyra.
He tried.
But he tried with Luke and Jace.
But it's almost a little bit more than that. Like, he knows this isn't his legitimate grandson that has just been killed. But something that's very important to Corlys is, I mean, it is his line. It's his succession.
Yeah, his succession for sure.
And
despite
it's a
what he knew, I feel like he treated them as, or still does treat them as his grandsons.
Absolutely.
The one thing I was gonna say, my dude Corlys looking kind of old. The couple weeks it's been since we last saw him have not really been kind to him. You know, sorry, my dude, you're looking kind of old.
Getting healed from that.
That's true. You know what? He was injured.
Yeah.
Also, he just received some terrible news. Like, listen, I can't hate on the guy. I assume this Alan, I think was his name. I think we'll probably see more of him. He seems like he's going to be a new established character. I assume.
Yeah.
Then we go to King's Landing, yes?
And then the fun starts.
I mean, because I've been having fun to this point.
No, for sure. But I feel like King's Landing becomes this, like, just dumpster fire, basically. And it's just very interesting to watch.
It's a den of rats, my guy.
I think that there's a lot unsaid in everything that we're getting with the Blacks on Dragonstone. Yeah, and we're like reading in the empty space.
The Greens is the
King's
opposite.
Landing, it's like the whole time.
On Dragonstone, it's very little text, all subtext. And at King's Landing, it's all text, no subtext.
Absolutely, dude. It's wild.
Oh man, that's true.
So one of the things, that I wanted to share with you and the audience is me, Amanda, Mia, and Nathan, the two friends that we had over watching tonight. Before the episode, we talked a little bit about season 1 and how interesting we think that Helena is.
Oh, sure.
Because she is essentially a dreamer. Like Viserys wished he was and whatever.
Right.
And we were curious, so we asked Mia, like, hey, like on your watch through of season 1, like, what are your thoughts on Helena? And it is very interesting. Like, the context of Game of Thrones does truly help these things, because she's like, oh, I mean, you know, like, basically, like, you know, she's a little weird, and you know, she like says weird stuff, and all correct and valid things to observe.
Just kind of awkward socially,
just super awkward. But yeah, like, they don't really talk about like being a dreamer much, and like, and or the idea of like sometimes Targaryens are mad.
Sure.
So yeah, anyway, we got on the subject of like her making these like very, very, very short-sighted prophecies, or like these very short-sighted predictions, I guess, with her like sight that she has. And lo and behold, first, like, one of the first scenes we get here in fucking King's Landing, I'm afraid of the rats.
Yeah.
And I was very interested in that. Because I like shit like that.
Yeah.
I like to be like, ooh, what does that mean? What's it, you know, like, is it going to be an obvious thing, which in this case it was, or is it going to be one of those things that, like, you know, you get to think about for the next month?
Right. Yeah. Is it like, is she talking about like Larry and our guy Larry, and Allison talked later, is she talking about spies, rats, you know, like being around and stuff like that?
I'm sure it's a double or triple entendre.
Yeah, could be a lot of things for sure still. Yeah.
But yeah, that is the first scene getting back into King's Landing.
I think
right? Like,
so. Yeah. I'm trying to remember. There's a lot that happens. A lot of scenes, smaller scenes that happen in King's Landing. I don't know if this is next, but I'll talk about it now because I loved it. The small council, with my dude Tyland, right? My dude Tyland Lannister. Just like fighting a 6-year-old for his little ball, his little stone.
Well, okay, hold on. We can't skip the fact that Alicent was fucking putting Kristen Cole to work.
She is putting him to work.
She's like, I need some fucking good.
Yeah.
And you're going to give it to me.
Also, I love how she's like, hey, this is the last time for realsies. Pinky swears, last time for realsies.
Walks away and goes,
yeah, cut to the end of the episode. What are those two doing when his ass should be on guard?
Yeah.
Kind of not a great look there, Allison. But yes, Kristen Cole, listen. They're probably the hottest two people on this show, so good for them. Like,
they might be, dude. I don't know. Emma Darcy is also beautiful.
She's very beautiful, very attractive. Eve Best is a very attractive older lady. I'm a fan. But no, I think it's for sure those two. They're so hot.
Eve Best can totally get it.
Yes, absolutely. She looks great, especially in that armor. But no, Allison and Sir Crisco, obviously this makes me wonder, how long has this been going on? Because obviously they've been closed for a long time. But were they getting this dirty when Viserys was still alive, you think? Or have they waited until he was gone at the very least?
That's interesting, actually, because it really, truly, it hasn't been very long.
No, it has not been very long. A couple weeks at most, probably.
Yeah.
So.
To just get straight to fucking.
Oh, they are getting after it.
Getting lunch in there, you know? I mean,
Crisco got lunch, breakfast, dinner, the whole 9 yards in there.
Fucking 11sies, everything, bro.
Yeah. Listen, good for her, because she's always got that fucker Larys creeping around her. So, you know, she needs an
good
actual.
For Kristen Cole.
Well,
bro.
listen, yeah. Also that.
I mean, she could get anybody. I mean, he's also very handsome.
He has banged multiple queens now. What
I'm saying. What I'm saying is he's reaching. He's the one that's reaching.
Maybe. I mean, he's banged multiple queens. That's got to be some kind of record for a Kingsguard, at least. That's got to be some kind of record.
Yeah, I guess that's true.
He's banged at least 2 queens. Okay, what? So let's go back to the small council scene. Tylan fighting this child for the stone is hilarious, and I love it. It serves to show us Aegon is a bit of a fucker, has a bit of a sadistic streak to him. That was
my note is we quickly see the type of king that Aegon is.
Very brief Joffrey vibes moment there. But they do Alicent, I think in particular, manages to rein him in. And yeah, like I said, the Greens are also scrambling. Like they're kind of...
There's a lot of infighting on the direction and the position that they want to take in this war to come.
Yeah. Aegon is like, I'll jump on my dragon and me and Aemond got this, bro. And they're like, that's like the worst idea. Stop. No, don't do that.
Yeah.
Yeah. A lot of infighting, like you said.
Aside from like the technical things being discussed in the small council, like there's a lot of, there's a lot of power play happening, you know, like, and we see some of it get addressed later in the episode when Alicent has her conversation with Otto. But like, you know, Otto kind of undermining Alicent, Aemond walking in, undermining Alicent. I think it's showing us kind of the trajectory of the people who are in the positions to influence the king effectively are not taking the moral high road here.
No, like, for sure not.
These are people that are ready for this to get bloody.
Yeah.
And I think that this small council scene is like one of the first I guess like showings of everybody together and this going not the way that she's losing control. Her grip is loosening, unfortunately.
Yeah. What happens next is I think we see Rhaenyra at some point.
I think next is Aegon taking the petitions.
Oh, okay.
And I have this as a part of my note about we quickly see the type of king that Aegon is with the small council. However, I found myself a little interested in him, actually.
I didn't dislike Aegon this episode like I feel like I used to. Not that
he's definitely a little fucking twat.
That's what I'm saying.
You know?
Not that I like him, but he was more interesting than I feel like he ever was before.
1,000%.
Yeah.
And like, I think even him choosing, like, I know it became a joke.
Right.
And somebody became the butt of the joke.
Yeah.
But like, even him choosing to bring young Jaehaerys into the meeting.
Sure.
I will admit myself slightly influenced by I like to watch the after like the not making of, but like they do like the quick chat.
Oh, sure.
Of some of it. And I can't remember which if it was Ryan Condal or someone else. Either way, one of them mentioned that the intention there was Aegon never received that love and treatment and inclusion from Viserys.
From his father.
And whether it's an outright resentment or simply him just like...
Subconsciously,
like, you know, bringing his kid along and like, you know, showing love to his son in that way. I really think that's some beautiful coloring in that. And we see it very little, you know, very slightly there in that scene. And then to make him even slightly more nuanced and maybe a little bit just like I'm curious about him and his headspace is him taking the petitions.
Yeah.
Like he seems quick to like want to grant.
Sure.
And I don't know if it's one because he's an idiot and he's not thinking strategically. Is it because he cares? Is it because
No, definitely
he's
not that.
lazy?
I
And
think
he's just
he wants.
yeah, sure.
I think he wants to be liked and loved.
Or is it because he wants to be accepted and liked and loved?
If you remember back to episode 9 of season 1, he was like not on board with being king, did not want
until
it.
they cheered for him.
Until they cheered for him. And then he started putting the sword up in the air, pumping his fist, getting the cheers, and there was a change, a visible change on his face.
Yes.
And I think that is very intentional. He wants to be loved and appreciated because, to your point, which you were saying before, he doesn't feel like he got that from his father.
Right.
So, yes, I think him just wanting to please, like, oh, this petitioner like is asking me for this, of course I'll give it to him. I'm the king, I can do whatever I want, and they'll love me for this. This will be great. Yeah. And, you know, Otto has to like rein him in, and that kind of goes part way. He like lets some of it happen, but no, it's very good character work for Aegon that I just did not expect.
Yeah, to have a character that is so blatantly painted as this like piece of shit kid in the last season.
Yes, for sure.
To then get two scenes basically with this character and feel interested in like what's going on in his head.
Huge.
Fantastic
turnaround.
work. Fantastic work. Truly.
Phenomenal writing, for sure.
Yeah.
I was a little taken aback by how direct Larry then was with him. Like, you're not the most subtle with the, hey, you should get rid of your grandfather as hand bit. It was just like so direct and like,
yeah,
maybe that's what Aegon responds to and Larry knows what he's doing, but it just felt like, come on, dude.
I think that Aegon is maybe a little thick.
You can maybe, but I was like, surely you can more subtly influence him in this way, because he just straight up was like, yeah, Alicent and Otto are very controlling. They controlled your father. You shouldn't let them control you too. You should get rid of Otto. And it's just like, buddy,
actually fire your
actually fire him. And it's like, buddy, subtlety, Larry. Come on, damn.
Yeah, I mean, now that you mention it, it does seem a little interesting, but I didn't feel like it was like out of place with Aegon. I feel like he was appealing to what Aegon kind of like wants, you know?
Well,
like,
no, for sure. I guess what I'm saying is I kind of hope, because I'm becoming more interested in Aegon, I kind of hope he recognizes the game that Larry is playing and maybe flips the script on him.
Right.
But we'll see. Larry also not subtle with Alicent, by the way. That dude, for being like... For being like the master of whispers or the kings or whatever the fuck his job is, in a job that like is subtlety incarnate, my dude is not being very subtle this episode. But listen, he is.
I was told you were indisposed.
This fucking guy.
And she's like, "What the fuck do you want?"
Yeah,
man?
What do you want? She doesn't even acknowledge it. Larys serves a very specific and needed role in the show. And I can't say I like him, but he does what he needs to do. And he's good.
And I think it also gives a good layer of like just at like Alicent not feeling like safe and like
yes, for sure,
comfortable in her even in her own bed. And we see it directly. The very next scene
is the next scene. The scene with Otto.
Well, no, it's where Larys confronts her about her being indisposed.
Mm-hmm.
She ignores him, and he says, "Well, I've got news for you. I've questioned
right, yes, the bath, yeah,
everybody that works for you, and I've gotten rid of the people who are untrustworthy."
Yes,
and she's like, "What have you done with them?" Well, they don't breathe our air, and I'm like, "Okay, guy,
again
you're
with
a
the
poet.
subtlety,
You're a fucking poet, man." And he says, "I have personally seen to everybody that now works for you. Like, and I've hired them all."
You can see, especially now and in the next scene, I'm glad you brought this up because I had forgotten about this, how just uncomfortable Alicent is in her own fucking bedchamber, in her own bath. And that's something to keep an eye on, for sure. Yes. Just a very interesting story development, because then, I don't know if this is now and then, but I think we should talk about it now. she goes and talks to her father and is like,
and it's a hell of a scene, by the way.
Hey, fucker, you're undermining me with my sons, and that shit needs to stop.
Well, and she did it, I feel like, really tactfully.
No,
like
she
she
did, for
found
sure.
common ground
Yes.
first.
I was direct, but you're 100% right.
She's like, we want the same thing.
Yes.
We need to be able to control while letting him think it's him.
She extended that olive branch first of like, hey,
Yes.
what are your goals? These are my goals. Get our cards on the table. We're on the same side here.
Yes. And I even, oh man, kudos, Allison, because I even really like that she's like, look, man, like, we just need to rein him in for a few weeks until the novelty of this has fucking worn off.
I think Otto...
And then we can go back to ruling the kingdom.
Right. Otto's even impressed by that, too. He says something along the lines of, like, a fine plan, my daughter. And it's just like, you could tell his ass meant that. He was impressed that she was like, listen, let him think he's in charge. He'll grow tired of ruling. And then it's back to us again. Easy peasy. And Otto's like...
Easy lemon squeezy.
All right, daughter. That's
like,
not
I see
a bad
you.
plan. Yeah,
Did I raise you?
Yeah, exactly.
Did I fucking raise you?
Exactly. Yeah, this scene's great as well.
I loved it.
Yes.
Yeah, big fan. Okay, so hold on.
Yeah. What?
My next note is in all caps. Ha 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 ha. The fucking white worm accent has returned.
I will say,
no, don't
listen,
you fucking say it's so bad.
She has dialed it back. Like, it's still not good, but there was definitely some direction given, and it's dialed back.
You think that the speech people were like, yo, people did not like you, so we gotta...
Maybe this was just an us thing. I have no idea. But,
no, I'm pretty sure everybody hated
it. It was definitely dialed back. I can't say I was excited to see that the white worm was still in the story, because that was literally the least interesting part of season 1 by a country mile.
Yes,
but
agreed.
This wasn't terrible. I didn't like it or love it or really care about it, but it didn't ruin the episode for me. It wasn't as bad as her season 1 scenes were. Let me put it that way.
Yeah, no, that's fair. I thought it was interesting that Sir Eric was
spoke up for her.
Yeah, I mean, I felt like maybe he was also kind of speaking up for himself, but yeah, it's interesting. I'm super not interested in him. The Eric twins.
They're fine. They're whatever.
Arik and Eric.
I almost got really... Yeah, Eric, not Eric was our joke last season. We said that every time.
Did I really?
Well, we both said it. We were like, oh, it's Eric, not Eric. And then Eric, not Eric went. Anyway. There was a brief moment when I thought I saw my dude, former Lord Commander of the Kingsguard, Westerling, on Dragonstone with them. And I got super excited for a moment, and I had to rewind it. But I think it's just another bald dude in Kingsguard armor, so I was very sad.
I hope that he comes back.
He had better make a comeback, because
he's a fucking baller.
He's a fucking badass. We do need to talk about Rhaenyra, because her scene of finding the part of the dragon and Luke's cloak was phenomenally acted by her.
Oh my god. It's them, by the way. Emma Darcy pronouns.
Oh, sorry, them. And just very powerful. Just the way they've done the makeup, you can tell she is just at her wit's end. She's dirty, she's crying, just not having a great week. And when she finds the dragon wing and the cloak, and that was powerful. But I'll tell you, the scene that got me, bro, this episode, where I legitimately teared up, was when Jace came back.
Oh my god, dude. Yes.
Dude, I teared the fuck up. This scene was so powerful when he comes in and is, Your Grace, and he starts telling her they've committed this to our cause, and he's fighting tears, and she's sitting there watching him, and then they come together and hug, and I was like, holy shit, dude, when did I start caring about Jace and Rhaenyra so much? Like,
dude,
this is what this show has done to me. How is it so good at this?
That's such a great call out, man. Like, even backing it up to like the first bit with Cregan, Stark, and Jace, I was like, okay, I can see. I mean, obviously, it's only been a couple weeks that have taken place timeline-wise, but I feel like the actor that plays Jace has kind of grown into his role.
Sure, for sure.
He just felt locked in. Is
sure.
What I noticed. And when Cregan Stark gets the note and looks at Jace, I felt it then. And then we get the scene of Jace walking in, and yeah, man, I was very emotional. It's a great scene. What's even more powerful is that Rhaenyra doesn't say anything.
Yeah, no, for sure.
She just embraces him.
Yeah, it was powerful, man. It was so good, so well done.
Also, we need to address her only line of dialogue in this entire episode.
It wasn't it? Huh?
The only line that she says. She walks into the council room. Mm-hmm. Daemon asks her, "Did you find what you needed?" She nods. We only see the back of her head.
Mm-hmm.
She walks around the council table, chamber thing, and they're awaiting her. You know, they give her a very, very short report, like, "Hey, we're ready
says,
for
like,
you."
Something about Harrenhal, I think, or going to the Riverlands, maybe.
And she just said, like, that's not the priority. Like, this is a mother at war now.
Yeah.
And she says, I want Aemond.
Yeah.
Targaryen.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah. Yeah, dude.
It's just like, it is simply moving.
Yes.
Watching this episode.
Yeah.
Watching this show all together, but this episode was...
Dude, this episode was on some shit.
Okay. Yeah, what else we got?
Yeah, what else that stuff was great. I cannot give it enough praise. Is Daemon infiltrating King's Landing now? Was there anything in between there that we missed?
Well, we get this we get the funeral scene.
Oh, yes, also very powerful.
That
Holy
is
shit.
Yes.
So
strong, but it's coupled. It's a quick cut, like coupling with Alicent lighting candles in the sept in prayer. And dude, who directed this? Was this Miguel Sapochnik? Who directed this episode? Because it's like there's a lot in this episode that I'm just like I just have too many feelings.
Yes, I can't remember if I saw. I noticed the writer, but his name is escaping me now because it was whoever wrote the season. I guess it was created by George R.R. Martin and this one guy's name.
Is it Ryan Condal?
It could have been.
I'll check.
But no, dude, like, to your point about the director, and I meant to mention this at the top, but I forgot because there's so much to goddamn talk about with this show. We have said this ad nauseum, but it bears repeating. This show looks so goddamn good. And something, I don't know if it was just this particular episode, it was especially good. I know they're all great, but want to know the thing that I noticed that blew me away is the lighting. Like,
Scott, dude, fuck off, man. Literally my next note. I'm not even lying to you, dude.
We are the same person way too often.
I'm not even fucking lying.
When they're like, I think I especially first noticed it when Eric and Daemon were like talking and walking through the castle halls. One of them, somebody has like a torch and they start talking and they're just going through like these castle halls at night. And I'm like, dude, this show is lit so fucking well. Like,
#lit.
It's #lit. Like, shouts to the shot composition and the direction and everything. Like, all that is top notch for sure. But
Truly.
the thing that was like so impressing me this episode was like the lighting in this show is unbelievably good. Like it sets a mood and puts you in a vibe and puts you in this medieval fantasy world so effectively, dude.
Like the lighting here is the epitome of dark fantasy.
Yes.
Like what it is because man, I was enamored throughout the whole episode. The first time I noticed it this episode was when Maylis flies into the dragon dock.
Sure.
The lighting there's gorgeous.
Yeah.
But even in the Sept too.
Yep.
When Alicent walks into the Sept, what they're the use of negative space in their light is so good. Like there's such a great contrast.
A lot of dark stone with like candles or torches. Yeah.
Yes. They just man, they're just hammering it home, bro. It's so good.
Yeah.
Okay, so I have so the contrast between the funeral and Alicent, she lights a candle through turmoil
for Lucerys
Velaryon, while they are having the funeral, and it's just a really moving composition, man. It's so beautiful.
They have done that. They did that multiple times in season 1 when they stitched like two scenes, like a Dragonstone scene and a King's Landing scene together, and like compared and contrasted them. And it gets me every time.
It works, dude.
It's so good.
It fucking works, dude.
It's so fucking good. Just fucking Jace standing there holding his little brother, like fighting back the tears as like the fire goes. I'm just like, dude, is Jace my new favorite character? What the fuck is going on here?
Yeah, man. Big feelings this episode. Big feelings this episode for sure.
For sure.
Okay. So the next thing is the last kind of bit, the climax of this episode. And there is something that I guess this is a reference to. You may know more. I've only heard it in term, but I don't know anything about the lore of it. Have you ever heard the term blood and cheese?
No. I don't think so.
Okay. Yeah, so I guess maybe we are filthy casuals in this aspect. But listeners, audience, if you guys are familiar, we want to avoid spoiler territory, obviously, so we're not going to go look it up. But I have heard through just general consumption of World of Ice and Fire stuff, the term blood and cheese. I've even seen people make reference to like, are we going to get blood and cheese or something like that?
Oh.
And I think it's a like a coined term for what happened with this like rat
that
guy.
Seems likely. Sure.
But yeah, I guess I would love to know if that did it any justice. And just kind of on, the people that know that lore, I'm interested because I eat this kind of shit up, so that's why I wanted to ask.
I was on the edge of my seat through this last sequence. I can say that, like, again, shouts to the direction, like just everything that was happening. It was very tense. Like I didn't know. I had a couple as they're like going in. My first theory was when Otto went in to talk to Aemon.
Mm-hmm.
I was like,
that Otto would get killed.
I thought the Otto was going to get killed. Yes, I was like, obviously Aemon is not going to die here. Like Aemon's role in this story is too important for him to go out now.
Yeah,
I was like, but Larry kind of just put Otto on the proverbial chopping block. So
yes.
If he were to accidentally get killed in this assassination attempt, I could see that.
Yeah.
But then as it goes on a little further, that's when the Helena thing clicked with me. And I was like, oh, the rats. I was like, this is about her.
Is she going to die?
Right. It was either, it's not Otto, it's either her or one of the kids. And yeah, and it was just tense. Again, just shot extremely well, and like, just, man, that ending was pretty brutal.
It was fucked, man. Yeah. Okay, so question, is it my understanding that they were able to simply just like get there and waltz in, even through like they went through that like courtyard thing because Kristen Cole was not on duty?
Well, I mean, a big part of it had to be because he is an employed rat catcher, so that some of the palace staff would know him, and he's like, oh yeah, he's here to do his job. Also, I'm assuming the fact that he knows like the tunnels very well.
Sure. But up on the level that
feel like there should have been more guards around, just like the general area. But yes, I think
Mia
we're supposed to...
is actually the one that brought that up.
Okay, yeah.
It's like, why were there no guards?
I feel like that's very valid. I think the main thrust of it is, yes, we are to assume is that was Kristen Cole's post.
Then I really... So if that is the telling of this, I really do hope that there is some repercussions for Alicent and Kristen Cole.
Well, I don't see how there couldn't be. I mean, I suppose the fact that Helena doesn't really speak coherently very often is maybe their hope and their prayer, in that they won't both get...
There's also the real honest chance that she already knew that this was happening.
Who?
That Helena already knew about Kristen Cole and her mom.
Oh, it's possible. Yeah.
But
anyway. I don't know. It seems like there has to be some repercussions for,
I guess,
for not Cole, just at the very least, for not being at his post. You know what I'm saying?
Okay, yeah. I want to see that.
Because Otto said specifically, return to your post, Lord Commander. I need to talk to... Okay, here's another thing that crossed my mind too. When I thought about when I thought about why aren't there more guards, and I was like, this seems kind of a little bit sketchy, plot holy. The other thought did hit me. They're kind of short Kingsguard right now. They're short at least 3 Kingsguard of the
3
7
or 4, yeah.
So that's kind of another excuse in that, hey, they probably haven't had a chance to replace those 3 members of the Kingsguard they're missing.
Mm-hmm.
But you should have a few more guards, probably. That's kind of an in-world excuse you can maybe skate by with, but
yeah,
still a little shaky.
To be fair, I did say that when we were chatting about it after the episode.
Did, yeah.
I did say, like, well, I mean, I think that they're probably spread a little thin, especially with, basically what you just said.
Was that Eric that told Daemon, we're sworn to protect the royal family, the entire royal family? What are we supposed to do when they're split against each other? That was a good one.
It was Eric.
It was not Eric. It was Eric. You're right.
That's right. Yeah.
That was a good line from him. I appreciate that. And we're back, baby. Because it was like, what are we supposed to do, Daemon? Like, the royal family was fighting each other. Like, what do you want? What do you want from me?
Yeah. True.
Boy.
Yeah, Scott.
I was gonna make a joke earlier in this episode when we were talking about the small council thing and Aegon bringing Jaehaerys in there. I was gonna make a joke about like, it's good that Jaehaerys is getting in there and getting instruction, because I'm sure he'll live a long, happy life as king.
Oh, no.
I couldn't bring myself to do it, so I'll do it now. I'm feeling less restrained, It's fucked, though. It's super fucked, obviously.
So there's got to be... I mean, this is going to turn it... Like, Aegon's reaction to this is going to be...
I mean, the war will pop off now, I have to feel like.
Absolutely.
We're about to get some type of battle, I have to feel like. Whether it's a dragon attack of some kind or a sea battle, perhaps.
I hope not. Sea battles are boring.
If they're done well, they couldn't be. I feel like we have to get some kind of skirmish at the very least coming soon.
Yeah, I feel like we're going to get to... They keep talking about Harrenhal. I think that'll probably be like the big battle this season.
Think so.
That'll probably be like the bit. Yeah, like everybody keeps referencing that Harrenhal is the key to the.
Yeah, I mean the Riverlands. That's the key in every war in
Riverlands.
Westeros, because they're in the center. They're like the crossroads of everything. Zach, this episode fucking ruled. If in case you couldn't tell already, I'm so happy this show's back. I'm so happy it is what it is. I'm so happy it's good. I was thinking as this episode ended, I was like, I would happily take 10 more seasons of this. I don't even care. It's so good. Give me this forever. Then my second thought after that was like, that might get a little long. Give me like 3 or 4 more seasons of this and then do something else in this universe, but just as good as this. I'm not greedy at all.
Did you see that A Night of the Seven Kingdoms began filming?
No, I didn't. That's very exciting, though.
That is very exciting.
No, I love me some Dunkin' Egg. I love
and I can't comment because I haven't read the books.
Oh, they're so good.
But, I mean, I am still excited for new
But that would be exciting for you, like, going into that blind, maybe.
I mean, I'll likely read it. Unless you recommend I don't.
I don't do it because that'll be good content.
All for the content. All right, fair enough.
Did you have any final thoughts? Like, do we want to say what? Well, I guess we kind of did. I just think some kind of big skirmish is going to happen soon, or at least small skirmish.
Yeah, I think that... Hey, you know what I've actually been wondering about? Don't Rhaenyra and Daemon have kids also? They have an Aegon.
Yeah.
Like, where have they been?
I don't know.
I know that they're young, but...
Yeah, they're pretty young. They have a Viserys and an Aegon, right?
Yes.
Viserys is a baby-ass baby. I don't know how old.
Yeah.
I feel like Aegon's pretty young.
Aegon's also like a toddler.
Yeah.
I mean, 3 at most, probably.
What is the name of the younger son, the younger strong son? Do you know?
The one that died?
Joffrey. It's Joffrey.
Oh, Joffrey. Okay. Oh, that's right. That's right.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Because Laenor named that one after his boy.
Right.
Do you think we'll see Laenor again this season? When the ship part happened at the beginning with Corlys, I thought we were about to see Laenor.
I don't know.
I don't know either.
I mean, maybe he'll get word of the war popping off and he'll want to come back and help, because he is a dragon rider, right?
Yeah. If I was a betting man, I would say yes. I think we will see him this season.
Do you think that'll cause issues, like with the perception on Rhaenyra and Daemon?
Possibly.
Interesting. Yeah, I hadn't really thought about that. But that's a great question. I mean, yeah, we could. I'm just so happy that we're expanding our scope here. Like
yes.
that's what I mean, not that, last season wasn't fantastic being in King's Landing and Dragonstone basically the whole time, but I guess just because of the awareness of the rest of this world, I'm very, very excited we're getting to the point.
If you have a beautiful... Oh, Jesus. Let me start that over. If you have a beautiful shot of a camera cresting a hill showing me Winterfell with the North theme playing in the background, I'm fucking putty in your hands. Like, you can do whatever the hell you want with me. I'm donezo, bro.
Hell yeah, brother.
Out.
Hell yeah.
What are you... well, okay, let's do who won the episode first.
This is so hard.
This is extremely difficult.
This is so fucked.
This is, for those who are new, this is kind of a combination of who is doing cool in-world things, making power plays, but also a big chunk of it is just who do we like a lot. They don't necessarily have to be...
Who is the most interesting on screen?
Who is the most interesting way on screen is a good way of putting it. It doesn't have to be like, oh, this person is about to win the Iron Throne. It's just like, who are we into right now?
Yeah, I would say that... Oh, man.
It's very difficult because it's literally everyone for me.
This is a fucked episode to have to choose one character. I wish we had who be thrown in.
Part of me wants to almost say Jace.
I was thinking that, actually.
But And part of me always wants to choose Rhaenys, if I'm being honest, because she's so cool.
Yeah.
I think I have to go Alicent, though. I think her confrontation with Otto was phenomenal. And I love how much she's like standing up for like herself.
Yes. And she's fucking.
And just like there's so much interesting shit going on around her with like her just being uncomfortable and fearful in her own home and the Laris stuff. Like there is just so much interesting things. Now this, like her daughter has come in with, you know, one of her grandchildren has now been murdered. There's just so much interesting stuff surrounding her.
Yeah, you know, interestingly enough, man, I think, I don't know how you or our listeners are going to feel about this, but I think I got to give it to Aegon, man. I
didn't even consider him, but I'm not mad at it.
It's shitty that I even feel the need to have to defend. Like, you know, I'm not defending myself, but just like, I was just like, he's everything I was expecting, but not at all what I was expecting in this episode. And I was just really interested in that. Like I could absolutely watch him try and stumble his way through finding his way as a king again, or consistently anyway. Yeah.
You were really into him talking about dragon cocks too. There's yes. At the end.
You know, we didn't even talk about that. That's also another great character moment for him. Like he's just a young guy.
He's chilling, drunk with his boys, just lounging on the Iron Throne. What the fuck? You're gonna get cut, my dude.
Like that's the shit that like these guys that he's hanging out with, they tell all their friends about that. Like they're like, dude, that's my boy.
Yeah.
Fucking chill. I was sitting right next to the throne, you know?
Your dad lost a finger getting nicked on that Iron Throne. You got to be careful, my dude. Is all I'm saying.
They shaved him down for Aegon.
Oh, did they? Okay, they blunted him.
They blunted him. But
what are you rating this episode?
I think I'm gonna go a 9.
I almost want to go 9.5.
I mean, hey, you can do as you wish.
I felt so happy and just I'm like, Hot D is back. This is amazing. It's great. It's just as great, if not better than it's always been. Fuck it. I'm gonna do it. 9.5.
9.5.
It was not like, again, you give me the North theme and a badass Cregan Stark with ice over his shoulder. Like, I'm done. Just stick a fork in me. Yeah. I'm fucking done, dude.
Yep. Yeah. I feel that. Man, that was a hell of an intro to season 2.
Hell yeah.
I cannot wait for more.
I hope we can keep these a little shorter in the future. We did kind of little cheeky little season 1 recap. We try to keep these brief, but we're also just very excited to talk about them.
Yeah, I mean, it is what we do. Yeah. If you are new here, first off, we want to say thank you so much for listening and watching. Please consider hitting the follow or subscribe button on whatever podcast listening app you're listening on. And if you're watching, please consider hitting the subscribe button here on YouTube. It does help a ton. And if you're interested, or if you're revisiting season 1, or you'd like to at some point, Scott and I did recently rebrand the Mythkeepers podcast from the We Don't Want a podcast, and that channel is still up and active. If you guys would like to revisit any of our past recaps or past content, you can find that on our YouTube. I'll throw that down in the link. But yeah, we just appreciate you guys being here. Feel free to comment on your thoughts on the episode. If anybody knows more about the blood and cheese thing, without spoilers, if it's not completely resolved, let me know. I would love to read a little bit more about that without risk of spoilers. And we just love you guys. We'll see you guys next time. Bye.